When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Steven. I just left hot yoga class. Man, did I sweat. You should probably try. No, you probably shouldn't try it because you're sweating. But you maybe could wear one of those Tommy Badami shirts, the ones with the underarm thing. That would be great. But you should have seen the yoga person's ass in front of me. He must work out.
Steven, I'm going away in a couple hours, and I'm not an anxiety type person. I talk about that. Like I'm anxious at the moment, but it's all caused by bullshit that's piling up right before I go away, which is so frustrating. Some of it's first world problems, and some of it's just bullshit. You try to line things up to get ready to go away. I still have to do the photo news fix for next week, which I have to finish writing and do today. We're doing this right now, which we're getting it done a day earlier than normal because I fly tonight at 8 o'clock out of Philly to go to Paris. But it's just other bullshit, like getting yelled at by a camera company, having to get a video out that you had to work long hours on. We're going to talk about this in just a minute. The Sony video that just came out for today. I'm dealing with tax stuff because tax season's upon us, so there's a lot of taxes that are due. When you make money, you owe taxes, and it's frustrating, but it becomes doubly frustrating this year. One of the things that becomes frustrating to me is when you do your taxes with your accountant, and then you're supposed to sign giving them permission to file electronically. Well, they send all the stuff to me digitally now, and it doesn't have that form, and I never opened the physical paper anymore, which if I go in and you want permission, just ask me to sign the paper in person. Yeah. Like, give it to me then and there. So that's frustrating that I have to deal with that before I go away. And then, of course, on top of the taxes, having to prepare to buy another place. First world problems. I'm well aware of that.
When you own 17 homes and 4 Lamborghinis and 2 Porsches, I mean, you got to pay a lot of money to keep that stuff.
It just becomes overwhelmingly frustrating at the moment, and then all piles up. Well, the other thing with the closing on the new place, if anybody's ever closed, they set a closing date. Yep. Well, we agreed on a closing date, and now they want it to be 20 days sooner because they say, well, we didn't agree on it. And I'm like, no, we agreed on it. For many reasons, and all I said to the people, I'm like, if it benefits me to close sooner financially, I'll close sooner. Sure. If it benefits to me to close later, what are you going to do? Blow up the whole deal? Fuck you. Like,
do you have it in writing, like an email or something that they said that
this is supposed to be the realtor's job on both sides to do it? They both agree that this was discussed because it's the seller asking for it. I was just being amenable. Sure. We were going to close sooner, and they're like, well, and I don't want to go into it, but would it be okay if we did X? And I'm like, sure, if that's what you need, because I don't care how much longer it goes. It just means I don't have to put out as much money yet.
Yeah, there's no rush to get over there right now. So we have time.
For us.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Fro Factory 17.
Yeah, Fro Factory 27. But anyway, coming back into this, I do want to welcome everybody who's new. Now, the reason you guys, most of you listening, don't know this, but, well, you may have. I sent an email out. We're on episode 44, and I haven't pushed it in a dedicated email. I've talked about it on RAWtalk, and I've talked about the fix. I talked about... Oh, Jesus, I just reversed it.
Every time.
I talk about the podcast on Photo News Fix, and I send out in the weekly email and that's just another thing I have to do is the weekly email, Steven. I guess I could do that from Paris tomorrow.
We really don't promote the podcast that often. I mean, even on Instagram or social media, if you only watch the videos on YouTube, you might not know about us.
Right, and so I sent a dedicated email, and the numbers look great. The numbers are
definitely
obviously
better than normal, for sure.
Much higher because new people got introduced.
And millions of listens.
Tens and tens and tens of listeners, and hundreds of listeners, and thousands of listeners.
The entire world is listening.
Yes. So we welcome all the new people who may not have known the podcast existed. Yep. If you haven't listened to the prior 43 of this iteration of RAWtalk, I highly suggest you do go do it because they are... some of the stuff may not be topical now that we talked about, but it's still funny. You may still get a little inside baseball on what we do.
Exactly. We do a lot of behind the scenes talk about the YouTube world, the camera companies. So that stuff still holds up for sure. But yeah, some of the other stuff is definitely topical regarding the Photo News Fix and all the news stories that week. For those new people too, I actually exist. My name is Steven. If you are listening for the first time, I'm usually the guy behind the camera and doing all the production and a lot of the editing for the channel. But I'm here to actually talk for once, so it's nice to have an outlet for myself.
Yes. Hi, Steven. Nice to meet you. And for those who didn't know, we do have a text line that you can sign up for. It is 313-710-9729. You can sign up for the text list. We've got a couple thousand people on there now. It's a good way to interact.
Millions.
Millions. It's a good way to interact with us. We occasionally do reply. I do send out the personal birthday greetings. If you don't get one, it's probably, and you didn't sign up, it's probably because your birthday fell on a weekend or I'm away and I just didn't do it. So Steven doesn't do that. I get messages all the time like, is this robot Jared? No. It's real Jared saying go eat cake.
And I don't do it because I know, I think you really like doing it. Like telling them to eat their cake and... and going back and forth with them. So that's your thing. I'm going to let you do that. I'll answer more of the technical questions that come in. I tend to answer and respond to those, but I'll always let people know as well. If you see from Steven, that's obviously from me. If you don't see from anyone, it's from Jared.
And it's probably the easiest way to get in touch with us that we might see, because Instagram, I'm probably not seeing your post or text or whatever.
It is a direct line for sure. And I have the app on my phone too, so it's almost like you're directly texting me sometimes.
Don't send any dick pics.
None of that.
313-710-9729. Again, sign up for that. It's free. I don't really send a lot of texts out to you guys. Occasionally I'll push something, but that's about it. It's a great way to interact with us. So
we really don't spam at all, yeah.
Welcome to RAWtalk episode 44. I'm anxious, ready to go to Paris, but not ready to go because I got a lot of shit to do. Like I got to eat lunch and stuff.
Oh, priorities, yeah.
But no, I mean it's been a little frustrating as of late with camera companies, and I'll go into this. And Steven didn't see this in the notes because I added this after I sent him the notes, so he's probably a little worried about what I'm gonna end up saying. But for those who don't know, we tend to get gear sometimes beforehand to test out. Like we just posted the Sony ZV-E1 real world review that Steven stayed up until I saw that it said uploaded 3 hours ago when I got up at 7 o'clock.
Well, because what happened is, just real quickly, I exported it at around 1 a.m. and I sat in my bed for the 20-30 minutes while it was exporting, and I'm just checking my phone and completely fell asleep. And then thankfully at like 4 a.m. I woke up on my own and ran over to the computer to upload it, to double check it as I'm like, dipping off, barely awake. But I wanted to make sure it was fully processed because the embargo date was lifted at 10 a.m. was the time for that, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. So I wanted to make sure it was ready to rock. And then I woke up around 8:30 in the morning and I'm very tired. It's been a long 2 days.
So that's another thing is like you got to do a lot of work to get stuff to, for these camera companies. Now, we're not paid to make these real world reviews. That's not a thing that we do. We don't call any review anything where we get paid. It's not a review. For example,
it's a product showcase, Jared.
Well, not the Sony. This in my hands that you guys can't see because this isn't a video podcast just yet. Again, is I have this Insta360 Flow that just got released at 9 a.m. this morning. So I get to take this to Paris to do a product showcase. We've worked with them in the past. They sponsor the video to showcase what their product can do. I'm not saying that you should buy it. I'm showing you what it's capable of, and you can make your decision. I am honestly happy that it came in the mail yesterday because I wanted to take this to Paris because it gives me something. It gives me some work to do there. It's a tax write-off now. It's a business.
And we actually have some time since we weren't in on the original embargo date for that. So we have some time to get this product showcase done. We're not going to be rushing like we normally are. Like I said, I only had about 2-3 days for that Sony video. So, and that's the norm. Sony actually usually gives us more time. It's Canon that kills us on these embargoes.
Right. But the thing I wanted to talk about is sometimes these companies want to give you gear, but don't give you time to utilize the gear. And then try to make you feel bad that they want it back. So, for example, right now there's something going on called Camera Camp that Sony's doing. I didn't get invited, and I don't know if that's because they knew I was going to Paris or they just didn't want to ask.
I think we've denied every invite for these types of trips over the past few years. So that's like Condo.
So what a camera camp is, basically they bring iJustine and her sister in, and you get to play with a bunch of Sony gear. The people that they really bring in are the low-level influencers that don't get to go on trips.
Sony Collective, for example. I feel like that's the quote-unquote low-level influencers that you're talking about.
No, I'm talking to not even those people, but new people that are out there that they want to influence them. I mean, Sony's trying to influence these people by giving them a free trip and bringing them to camera camp and doing fun stuff and giving them alcohol if they choose to drink it.
I've always said it's the new version of payola, basically.
It is. And then there's like camera bag. They give them camera bags. They give them swag. They leave with some stuff. And yeah, that can be influential to lower end channels. But my whole thing is they wanted to get this camera back sooner so that they could put it in the hands of other people at this camera camp thing. And our thing is we want to take our time. We want to make a quality video, and it benefits us both. But the issue that I'm having with all of the companies right now is that this is free product placement for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is free advertising for them. And I understand that it works both ways, that we get views out of it, so it's mutually beneficial, but don't act as if we need them more than they need us in the long run. I can get gear. I can make a deal with B&H to get access to whatever gear is early, probably, and they would be more than happy to be the company that's like, you know what? We're under NDA to you. They sent us this gear out early. Do you want to do something with it and put it on your channel and have B&H mentioned? And they would absolutely be like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Let's do that. So it's just, people don't understand that it's not, I mean, yes, it's a privilege to get access to stuff early, but this is also a business that we run. And I'm not saying I want to get paid to make this shit. I just want the respect that comes with having a large channel and having an influence at this point to use gear. I want the respect that we deserve at this point, and that means give us the time we need to get shit done, and then don't try to rush us to send something back because you need it for some low-level YouTube influencer who has 3,000 subscribers right now, and you want them to you want them to get this first. And I'm not trying to talk down to someone like that. I'm just saying that it's more beneficial to put it in our hands and let us do something with it than to rush it out at camera camp.
Yeah, and I think these camera companies, I think they assume that, okay, here's the camera for 1 week, we need it back next week, and they're like, that's plenty of time. Yeah, to someone that's not doing anything else that week, that is enough time. But for us, when we're trying to juggle multiple different videos and other maybe embargoes coming up, whatever it may be, there's a lot of things going on at that time. We can't just stop everything to do this one video. So I think they don't realize that. And Sony used to give us, at least during the pandemic, they would give us almost like a whole month with this new gear. I think the A7S III we had for like a month and a half, if I recall. It was weeks with that camera. Now I feel like it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter, where this run, I think we had a week and a half maybe, and that 1 week you were gone to film all the B-roll at the bowling event, and then when you came back we had 2-3 days to film with the actual camera, to film the actual initial review. So it was really tough to try and squeeze that in because Sony was on us like, we need that back Thursday. We need it back ASAP. And
no, they said Wednesday.
Or Wednesday,
and it's like, we were filming Wednesday. Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I went away for a week to test it out, but
but
like
you need to test it out. That's the thing. You need a week to test it out.
Yeah. If you want us to sit in a fucking chair or at a desk and just talk about a camera and not actually use it, because that's what most people do on the internet. Most quote unquote reviewers don't actually take stuff into the real world and review it. They sit down and they test features. I love Gerald Undone. When's the last time Gerald went and actually shot video or took photos with a camera?
Well, I think he's more
highly
in the
technical.
lab doing the testing. I think he is testing the camera, but it's more with lab charts and stuff like that, where we're more in the real world review, out in the field style.
Which
so it's
to me matters more than anything.
Yeah, the real world I think is more, again, real world. That's what most people are going to get from this particular camera instead of a test chart shooting at the optimum ISO or whatever it may be.
It's why I ripped on DP Review and Rishi forever, because all they would do is do chart tests and here's how it looks in the studio.
And that's why I really liked when DP Review TV came on, because they kind of took it out in the field while Rishi and all the scientists were doing their lab work, and they kind of combined the best of both worlds. Jared's making all these nerdy faces at me.
Yeah, I am. But yeah, it's just not trying to say first world problems, just letting you guys in a little inside look about what goes on when these camera companies
and
get
let me
in touch.
continue this timeline too. So when you came back, we can't just instantly be like, all right, let's film the review right now, and we have to take a look at the footage. We have to review everything. We have to go over the initial notes that we took down from the NDA call, which, those calls are nearly an hour. So there's a lot of notes to go through. We have to try out new features that maybe you didn't get a chance to do while you were on the road. There's a whole spec outline and general, kind of a rough script that we make up. Not a script, but yeah, an outline. So there's a lot of prep that goes into making these reviews, and then not to mention the actual editing and the filming of the beauty shot, the product itself. So I'd say 2 or 3 days we spent between filming it and editing it. But that was, when I say 2 to 3 days, I mean like 3 24-hour days nonstop, like not like 3 8-hour days.
So the problem here is I don't know that it's beneficial to us right now or anymore to lose focus on the content that we can make that benefits us more.
And it sucks because there's times where we're like, I don't think people are really, we don't even know what the product's going to be before we accept it half the time. So it's hard to be like, no, we don't want it, and then we don't get the NDA call and it might be the biggest product of the year. You know what I mean?
Well, but what we tell them is don't try to decide for us what our audience or what we want to see. Just because you don't think it might be beneficial to our audience doesn't mean that it's not beneficial for us. And I get it. It's a two-way street. They give us access to stuff early, and they get basically free coverage. But I don't want to chase the 37 other people that post videos right now. Like, who else posted a video? Did iJustine literally put out 2 videos within an hour? Let me look. iJustine. Yeah, she posted at 9 o'clock, she posted the Insta360 Flow review, and at 10 o'clock, testing the new AI-powered full-frame Sony camera, Sony ZV-E1.
So 9 a.m. was the embargo time for the Flow, and 10 a.m. was for the Sony. And we've run into that before too, where we've had like 3 different embargoes that lift within the same hour or two. And that's always a pain in the ass because you're trying to work behind the scenes on multiple projects at once while these camera companies are like, we need the camera back. And you're like, you don't understand. There's a lot of videos we're trying to get done at once right now. And we can't tell them because we're under NDA.
Well, yeah, and most of my issues here are that I want to go out and shoot. I want to make real content, and I don't want to be the guy chasing fucking releasing a video because 15 other people are releasing one, and if we don't get that bump. I really don't care because I know people are going to watch our videos when we get them out, and so if it doesn't get as many, I don't think this video is going to do well. I don't think a ZV-E1 real world review is going to do well, even though we like the camera. I just don't think it's going to be a good video.
I do really like the camera, and I don't think we're going to get a crazy initial bump from a camera like this because it's a ZV camera. It's a video-centric vlogging creator camera, whatever you want to call it, and that's not necessarily our target audience or demographic. There are more still photographers, obviously, that watch our stuff. So it's very hard to get them to watch that, but we hope in the long run, through search and all of that this video will eventually get views and make it worth it all in the end. Because if you look back to the ZV-E10, for example, the first 24 hours for that video, it pretty much flopped. It was 16,000 views, I think, for the first 24 hours, which we're used to at least, 30, 40, hopefully, for the first 24 hours. Now, I think this video is going to do the same, but if you look back at the ZV-E10, it now has 4,000 views on it. So it's not a total flop at the end of the day, although 84,000 is still not a huge number for us. Is it worth it is always the question.
I don't know. Let me flip it and reverse it. Mish, 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 mish,
yeah,
mish, 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 mish. Yeah. Let's shift. Well, actually, before I shift gears, it's always nice getting yelled at on the phone by camera companies. When they want to yell at you for something, and it's just like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. You need me. Yeah, it's mutually beneficial, but we got to work together to make this stuff work and understand that I don't work for you. I don't work for you, camera companies. Steven doesn't work for you. I have an obligation to Steven and Dan and their growing families to make sure that we run a business and that we can stay in business. And that means doing what's best and what's right for us. Not always being there like, oh, you want us to play with this camera, and if I don't play with this camera, you're going to get upset. right? Because we've had that, like, oh, well, if you keep saying no to these shitty products, we're not going to give you the good products. No, don't threaten me.
And, we usually get handed over the camera and there's never any directions or instructions or a user manual or anything on like the new features. We're trying to figure them out on our own half the time. It's never easy trying to figure out some of these new features on the camera.
Now, do you know who does a good job with that, Steven? Insta360.
They do.
They put together videos and how-tos, and this is not a plug for them. I am sponsored to make the video in Paris, but everything not in Paris is just me saying it. They do a great job because they show you how the product works. They show you how the features work. Whereas with Sony and Nikon and Canon, you get these new cameras and you have to figure it out. And sometimes we get some of the stuff wrong because you just don't know where it is or how it works, and they never tell you.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't even get a full spec sheet, or maybe we get it like a day or two before the actual
done recording.
Exactly, but after we already filmed the review. Where Insta360, again, they'll give us a full spec sheet, they'll give us recommended settings to shoot with, what to test out. They really are great with that, and I wish every camera company followed that.
You want to know the new thing that these companies are doing? They're not giving you the price until right before. And that happens with Sony more so than the others right now.
It's typically 24 hours before, so we have to film.
We already filmed the video.
But what I'll make you do is like, okay, say this price, $2,200, $2,300, $2,400. Like, we'll do a range of pricing, and then at the end, when I finally get the full pricing, which again is usually hours before the embargo, I'll squeeze it in there. But
what I don't like about that is the fact that sometimes if it's a $300 or $400 difference, that may change my mind on how I recommend the camera.
It affects the entire review, and your thoughts.
So that makes it difficult when they're not giving us the pricing beforehand. And part of the reason is Japan probably hasn't decided, for one, or the other reason, which is more bullshit, is, oh, what if it leaks? Well, it's going to leak. It's always going to leak.
Always leaks.
And it's not coming from us.
Well, Sony Alpha Rumors, they had pretty much the entire spec sheet for the past, 2-3 weeks on their website.
Someone testing the camera was giving them information.
Yep, and they were giving them screenshots of the camera and everything. So it's been out there. A lot of times, if you look at rumor websites 2 or 3 weeks before a product's released, they usually get it right.
So we'll come back to the do we need to come back to the spec? I don't really care about talking about the specs.
I just wanted to bring up that this camera, I truly do think, and I'm not just saying this because it's Sony and they gave us the camera for a week. I do think this is probably the best vlogging camera that I've ever used that's on the market right now. I mean, all the new AI features too. I think Sony is really pushing the market forward with AI-based features, but it's not that the camera's doing all the work for you. It's just that these features will make like a one-man band, a one-man crew much better at making a more polished video at the end of the day. So, for example, they have that auto framing option, which is really cool. It's using that 12 megapixel sensor and zooming in digitally on the frame and tracking the subject, which is really cool if you're doing like a live stream, which now it has 4K 30p. So you could be doing a live presentation and this camera's, it looks like there's a person behind the camera actually tracking and following you. Now, it is a 12 megapixel sensor, so you are really digitally cropping in and interpolating that to 4K footage. But there's a lot of other AI features on here, and they have that new cinematic vlog Peter McKinnon mode, which is interesting. I thought the stuff you shot for someone that doesn't shoot video looked really good, and half the time the camera was literally in auto.
Steven, I don't know why you're so amazed that I'm able to go get good footage shooting video, not being a video shooter, because it all comes down to composition.
Award-winning cinematographer Jared Polin.
I can throw black bars on with the best of them. I hit a button, black bars show up, it's now cinematic.
Your
but
4K
it's really not that hard.
As Cinetone, all the bells and whistles.
No, I don't, but I will outshoot someone who has it's not that hard to get your composition right. It's not hard to figure out how to tell a story because I understand storytelling, so I can translate it to video. So you shouldn't be so amazed. You did set up the camera and told me which buttons to hit when it came to what, but
I think the issue with you filming, though, because what you tend to do with your photography is you can take one picture and tell the whole story with one picture. With video, you literally need multiple angles of the same thing to really make it work most of the time, and that's where I think you need to work on that a little more.
I knew I wasn't
bowling
making
7 times, but give me all types of different B-roll and shots.
We talked about I wasn't making that vlog. I wasn't trying to do that. But maybe next time.
There's a lot of the same bowling over and over and over. Same angle.
That's bowling. You can't get any other angle than shooting them from the back.
You definitely could. You guys get some profile shots too.
No, you can't. That was during practice.
During practice, that's what I'm talking about. Practice.
I did. I got Stu during practice from the side.
Yeah, but you shot slow motion in just one time of him doing that.
I didn't have a lot of time over there. You don't get a lot on that.
Weren't you there for like 4 days?
Yeah, but the practice doesn't. So
That's
they only
all
get 10
4 days.
minutes of. They get 10 minutes of practice before they start.
Okay.
And they're focused on that. The day to do it. I wasn't there the practice day, which was where they've got 3 hours they can practice, and they're not thinking. But when it comes to the tournament, and they only have 10 minutes before they start, and they get right into the competition, I'm not going to go interrupt them. I'm not going to interrupt them.
Back to the Sony camera real quick. I just want to throw one last AI based spec out there. The new microphone setup that they have is really interesting, where they're using the power of that AI processor to know if someone's in front of the camera or behind. So it will auto switch the pattern of the microphone, the internal microphone, to either just the front or just the back. And you were having conversations with the bowlers, and it's like you were interviewing them. You could clearly hear your voice, and then it would switch to the bowler talking, which I thought was really interesting, because if you had a Rode shotgun mic, you're going to be muffled in the background talking like this, instead of hearing your voice pretty clear. Now, again, it's not the best. It's an internal mic, but for the price and everything, I don't know. I just thought this really looked, the footage and everything looked pretty solid. And you were shooting with Tamron third-party glass without IS, and the stabilization with active mode and the new dynamic active looks really good. So I'll leave it at that. Watch the video. We go over all the specs. But I do think if we still had this camera, I would recommend taking this camera to Paris if you were doing a vlog or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I like the footage that we got off of it.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to talk about what I'm taking in just a second.
Okay.
But I did get yelled at by Pete Weber. Anybody who knows Pete Weber, he's the bad boy of bowling from back in the day, and he's the one who was like, "Who do you think you are? I am." He has to find a villain, so he has to yell at someone to get himself hyped up. Now he's in his 50s, maybe 60 at this point, and I'm sitting there taking footage, and there's not a lot of room, so he's getting pissed off. He's like, "Hey, you know where to put my balls? And you got people everywhere." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's right, Pete. Get angry, bro."
Was there footage of that? I don't remember hearing that or seeing that.
No, I got out of his way. And then he's like, "You're fine, because he just needs someone to yell at all times. Anybody that knows bowling knows Pete Weber and knows that he's a hothead on the lanes and off the lanes. He does a lot of yelling just to get himself hyped. Anyway, moving on. You know what really calms me, Steven?
I don't know. I'm not going to say it.
Yoga. No, I just started doing hot yoga.
I was going to say something else, but I'll leave
Whatever. It doesn't even fucking calm me either. Screw off. It's like, fuck off.
It gives you a release, right?
Not really. I went to hot yoga I went with someone last weekend, and it was fun. It was good. I really liked the last 10 minutes where you get to lay on the floor. And
you like showing off your ass, I bet. Do you wear yoga pants?
Yeah, I wear yoga pants.
Oh, you probably love it.
But I wear my workout. I wear my workout shorts, Steven, on top.
Why?
Because if I didn't, because women can get away with yoga pants because they're not really showing their junk unless they have camel toe. I don't want to go showing some moose knuckle. I mean, I have such a large penis, Steven, that it would just be so distracting to all of the men and women in class that they'd be like, "Wow, look at his yoga pants." They'd be like, they'd have to blur me out the whole time.
Well, what do they say in Superbad when the one girl gets like a breast reduction? They're like, "That's like slapping God in the face for giving you a beautiful gift or something." I think of it like that, covering up that badonk.
But what I want to say quickly about the yoga thing is, it's another challenge. It's multifaceted why I like yoga. I don't really like it, but I'll give you the reasons for liking some of it. I like the challenge of doing another physical thing, a physical activity, one that takes up an hour. So that's good, because I like to fill my time sometimes after work, before dinner. I need something to do that's not just sitting around. I like that, but I also like the free calorie burn I get because it's 100 degrees in the room. So I like the extra sweat. You would be swimming in a pool if it was you.
I would melt away. Yeah.
Hey, what shirts do you wear?
Thompson Tees.
You said they messaged you back?
They did. They either sent me a DM on Instagram or commented or something, and I'm like, "Oh, do they listen to the podcast?"
Hey, this Steven could be made sponsored by Thompson Tees,
Oh,
and he'll only
please.
still get 12.5%.
My whole wardrobe will be Thompson Tees.
Why don't you should reach out and say, hey, here, send them this clip and be like, hey, we talked about Thompson Tees on the
They could be the new
on
sponsor of RAWtalk.
or of Sweat Talk.
Are you a sweaty photographer? Buy Thompson Tees.
Basically, all it is think of the 80s padding that used to be in the shoulders.
It literally
We just
is.
put it underneath the armpits instead, and now it sucks up all your sweat. But
Which
it has
in
a
turn
double bonus.
makes you even hotter and then makes you sweat more. but at least it covers it up.
Extra bonus. If you're ever stuck in the desert, it sucks up all your sweat, and you can wring it out into your mouth.
Jeez.
Winning.
Oh,
So
God.
the other reason, so the yoga's been all right.
I'm surprised that you like yoga because, like you said, you don't like sitting around doing nothing, and you're essentially doing that. But I guess the calorie burn that
No,
you're
you're
talking
moving
about.
in yoga. You're moving in yoga. There's a lot of flowing, Stephen. You got to do ashanashama. You got to do the flying lotus. You got to do the airplane. You
I'm
got to
not
do
saying
the
it's
chair.
not a lot of work. I just feel like someone like you would think it's like you're just sitting around doing yoga.
No, but you're
I could
not
be
sitting
working
around.
out.
No, you are moving. You're doing high to low plank into downward dog,
that's the
into
worst.
up dog, and you got to. So this one teacher guy, so he doesn't listen to music, and he's very yoga-y. So right before the class, when the class starts, he's like, "Hello, class. I just want to let you know I like to start it off by going around and making eye contact with everybody and welcoming them." And I just want to be like, ha, 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 ha. But no, I'm being very good and just letting people go with it.
Do you say when they get to you, are you like Jared, Polin, Frono,
No.
Photo?
No. This is just the instructor coming to each person and being like,
Oh, so they're just
"Hello."
literally making eye contact, and
Yes.
that's it. You're not
One-on-one.
introducing each other, or
No, he's like, hello, welcome.
I can
And I'm
feel
like-
your soul, Jared.
I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously, just tell me what to do. And then I don't do the and I'm not doing the breathing like everybody else. I just have a trouble letting go, but it's been good because the last 10 minutes is where you usually just get to lay on your back and close your eyes. And I do feel like I'm hallucinating from times because I get these dreams and these thoughts that are happening. And it's actually pretty cool and relaxing. So I leave there hungry because I just burnt a lot of calories because it was 100 degrees. And so I like the free calorie burn that I get
Interesting.
by doing yoga. Oh, and the guy's asses. I mean, the girls' asses aren't bad. No, I had this guy in front of me the other day. So I try to sit near women because I like women, but I'm not staring. Seriously, you have to focus on doing your yoga because it's very difficult if you don't. And with what we're doing, but there was this girl the other day who wore yoga shorts in front of me, and I was just like, stop looking, stop. She's doing the I think they call it the something cow. I don't know. It's where you suck you're on your knees and your hands. So you're basically doggy style, and they're putting their asses and wiggling them in the air. And it's just like, stop looking. And even the guys do it. But this guy in front of me was super muscular, not as muscular as me. He had really good muscle tone for his upper body though.
Good to know.
So
Good to know.
Good to know. Yeah. But
Welcome
I like yoga.
to the yoga podcast, everybody.
Yoga talk, everybody. Paris is coming up. I'm leaving for Paris. I've got an 8:02 flight tonight. I have to get a bunch of shit done, as I've already said. So I'm going because my friend is running the Paris Marathon. And when she decided to run the
is that
Paris
the actual?
Marathon...
I didn't realize that's the reason you're going. I thought you were just going to Paris.
No, my friend was running the Paris Marathon. She's like, hey, friend group, who wants to go to Paris?
Wow.
And Shelly, my friend Shelly, was like, I'll go. And I was like, I'll go to Paris. I'm not happy that it's like 9 fucking days on the ground. I think that's too long.
Oh, dude, when you said 9 days, I'm like, there's that shocks me because typically you're like 5, maybe 7 at most. Being that it's international.
I was letting other people plan it. We got stuff planned.
The fact that you're going with other people, I think you'll be occupied enough to stay for 9 days and not be freaking out. I think you'll be fine this time around. If you were by yourself, you probably wouldn't survive 3 days. Yeah.
No, I mean, we got things. We're going to go to the Louvre and get a tour guide. We got a private tour of Normandy where they pick you up. I do have a bet with my friend to see whether the driver smells this time, like when they took us to Auschwitz.
Oh, dude. And the fact that I was behind the driver and he had the air blasting and his literally the stench of his body odor was just going right into my face. I don't think he showered or puts deodorant on at all. It was bad.
Do you know what he needed, Stephen? Thompson Tees with scented armpits.
See, that's the one good thing is I sweat like crazy, but thankfully I don't smell. At least I don't
just
think
don't
I do.
take your shoes off.
Well, my shoes are a little stinky though.
Oh my God. So I guess we're doing a trip to Normandy. It's a 3-hour drive each way. So that's like 6 hours in the car, but I want to do it. I want to do the historical stuff. And being that I'm reviewing this, this selfie thing, what's it called? Insta360 Flow. I'll be sure to go to the cemetery and make selfies in front of all of the dead soldiers, which I will not be doing.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
Right. That's not what you should do. So don't do that.
Remember when we went to Auschwitz, for example, and we were debating on bringing cameras, and I'm like, it's not right. Like we both were like, we shouldn't be doing anything here.
No, we shouldn't film video or content there.
Yep.
What I did do is I did take I took like 18 pictures when I was there.
Yeah, I meant more like filming content there, yeah.
No, I do remember getting stopped by the Israelis, the kids that were on their mission from Israel.
And they were in that little circle, right when you walk in where the train tracks are, yeah.
Yeah, they were all like,
praying, I think.
We watch your videos. I'm like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're at Auschwitz. Leave me alone.
Yeah, that was...
But yeah, so I mean, I do plan on taking pictures. I am taking the R8. I was debating taking the R6 Mark II as a backup just in case something happened to the R8, but I'm like, no, that's just wasted space. So I slid the R50 into the bag because that takes up no space. I don't really care. Like, I don't think I'm going to have an issue with the R8 at all.
Surprised you took a crop sensor camera, though, as a backup.
Steven, it doesn't matter. I'm not there for a job. Right?
No, I agree. I mean, the R50 is always nice to test out more too and do more of a review on. That's going to be a hugely sought after search camera, I'm sure.
Yeah. I do. I need to, but yeah, so maybe I'll make some vloggy content with that because the lenses I'm taking a 14 to 35 f4 and I have the ND filter for that, the variable ND, so the stuff can look good outside.
Make sure the lens correction is on in the R8 and for the video mode because that
on?
Yeah, that vignetting is atrocious on the 14 to 35 when we turn off all of the internal
lens correction for video.
Yeah, all the internal lens correction.
So I'll turn that on. I just made a note. Hopefully I don't forget amongst the 8 million other things I have to deal with.
It's only when you're all the way out at 14. So if you're vlogging yourself, but I doubt you'll be all the way out every single time. That's
right.
A wide
so that's
frame.
the vloggy lens because it can go wide and it has image stabilization.
Yep.
And my walk around shooting lens is the 28 to 70 f2 because that covers ranges that I love. 35 gives me 50. Really, the 35 and the 50 is what I love, and of course, everywhere in between. That doesn't have IS, and I'm not sure if I'm going to take another lens. I think I might have room to take an 85. What would you take as a third lens? Because I'm not taking the 11 to 24. That doesn't make any sense.
The 14 to 35 obviously is going to be great for the vlogging and just for landscapes in general.
And wide angle
cityscapes,
stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. The 28 to 70 is probably your go-to for everything. If I had to take a third one, it'd probably be a telephoto zoom, like a 70-200, but I don't think I'd be shooting far like that, zooming in on things, unless I'm shooting the top of the Eiffel Tower or something like that. I don't know.
Well, the only thing I would photograph would be my friend finishing if she finishes the race, but
you can still get away with a 70 millimeter f2 portrait and make it almost mimic a 85-1.2 look. So
I don't know that I need the 85, and I don't think I need a 135. Like,
if I had to bring one of them, I'd probably bring the 135 over the 85 though.
Why?
Just for some extra reach. And it's still a great portrait lens if you need it like that. The 85, you're so close to 70 at that point. The 135 at 1.8 versus 85-1.2, I mean, you're going to get the same compression and look at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, but the 1.2 still gives you the different depth. You still, not that I'm looking to blow out the background and everything.
Exactly.
But the 85 is nice. I don't know that I need a 135. What am I going to do with the 135?
What are you going to do with the 85?
I don't know. Unless I just challenge myself what I did the last time I was in Paris. I had the D850 and the 35-1.4, and that's all I went around and challenged myself with. I really think the 28 to 70 for what I'll be doing is the ideal lens.
Oh, yeah. I think you're going to be using that and probably never taking it off.
Do you think a 24 to 105 2.8 from Canon, if that was a thing, would be better? I still don't know. I still rather have the f2.
Yeah, but 2.8 at 105, I mean, yeah, if I had to take, I think the 24 to 105 2.8 for me, like when I was shooting concerts back in the day, would have been my ideal perfect lens that I probably would have never really taken off. I mean, that range is insane, and the fact that you're a 2.8 in a low light concert situation, that would have been such a phenomenal lens. Now, when I'm shooting you for video, I tend to do the 24-105 f4 because it is such a great range, and I'm not switching lenses in the middle of trying to run around and chase you. I think if I was traveling and I was only taking one lens, 24-105 all day, just because of the range. But
it also makes you question the 35-150 from Tamron. If that was on,
if I was shooting Sony, 35-150 is probably all I would bring.
That would be a great Paris lens. 35 f2,
unless you're vlogging.
No, yeah, not great for vlogging, but 35-150, 2.8. So it's a 2-2.8. It's only.
Which you use that lens for most of the bowling stuff too with the ZV-E1, and it looks great. And that bowling alley, they're dimly lit. You were at what 4,000 or 5,000 ISO in video mode for half that time. So
yeah, so it was pretty high.
Yeah.
See, that's where I don't have a Sony camera that I want to take anymore, but the 35-150 it could be that one lens to rule them all yeah. when you're traveling. I'll try not to get kicked out of the Louvre this time, like last time.
What happened last time? I forget.
I got threatened. They came up. See, people like to yell at Jared, because of his hair and because of how he looks. And so when I was in Paris, I was doing a vlog because it was sponsored by Adobe Stock at the time. And so I was doing a vlog with the M50, original M50 from Canon, and the 11-22 lens. No, that wasn't out yet.
Wow.
In 2018. And so I was doing that video. So I had two cameras, and I had the D850. And what I did is I was at the Louvre. I was making some video showing, hey, I'm at the Louvre. This is the Mona Lisa. And then I take out the other camera from my backpack, and the security comes up to me and goes, hello, excuse me, monsieur. Would you like a croissant? Hands or blows?
A baguette?
Baguette. She's like, excuse me, you look professional. And I'm like, thanks. Yeah, I look professional because I am.
Oh, you can't take a professional interchangeable
camera
like, in there?
Do you have permission? I'm like, I don't need permission. I'm on vacation, Frenchie. Leave me the fuck alone. You need permission because you do commercial use. I'm like, I'm on vacation, taking pictures. Look at the 400 other morons with their cell phones taking pictures of the Mona Lisa from right in front of it.
Sure.
Leave me alone.
Is the Philadelphia Art Museum like that? I think you can bring in whatever camera, right? And
you can bring in a camera. You just can't have a backpack.
Or take photos of any piece of art?
You can without flash.
Sure,
and then you just have to add Skittles to it. Oh my God.
And it looks better than real life.
Why don't I do a plug this year where I'm going to do it right there? That's for commercial use. I'm going to be inside. I'm going to be with the Insta360 Flow, and I'm going to be like, guys, let's go around the Louvre and add Skittles to everything. Boom, boom, boom. Much better. Much better. So the moral of the story is they were like, you look professional. You can't do this. And I'm like, leave me alone. I'm on vacation.
Surprised they said you look professional with that shirt and hair.
I don't hear any noises other than you laughing at yourself. I heard crickets in my head.
You're just staring at me.
Yeah, I'm just staring at you. That's what you get, Steven. Hey, your office looks like it hasn't changed in 4 years since living there. Everything that photo is still behind. You guys can't see it, but everything that's in the background hasn't moved in years.
Because this is essentially like my storage. This office was meant to be like a 2-week thing when the pandemic started, and then I legit started working from home and never really went back in. And I haven't changed anything because I'm like, I'll go back. I'm going back next week. What's the point? Now I actually should do something to this room.
Yeah, but is your room bigger than the baby's room?
This room is bigger. Yeah, it actually has a walk-in closet too. That's like my gear room.
You're not going to give that to the baby?
Hell no. This is going to be my office, and we still have 2 other bedrooms over there. So
you do?
They'll take one of them.
They will.
They will.
Okay. Are you sure they're a they? You're just hedging right now. You're gonna keep calling
How dare
they
I
them.
assume the gender, Jared?
You're assuming the gender of your baby.
That's why I said they.
I mean, at birth, they're a cis female. So let's go there for a second, Steven. I never knew what cisgender meant. Because you see
what you're
it in
assigned
dating
at
apps.
birth, right? Isn't that what it is?
But I didn't know what cis. I had to Google that, and I'm like, stop calling me cis. Like, not because you're calling me cis, like a sister, but stop. Like, no, Don't call me what I...
cis as in like CIS, right? Isn't that how it's spelled?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. Do you want to should I Google it?
Sure.
CIS. Cis. We do not make arbitrary distinctions between trans and cis women. Wait. What is cis classifying? Cis, short for cisgender, pronounced cisgender, or just cis, is the term that means whatever gender you are now is the same as what was presumed for you at birth. That's super confusing.
Yeah, I think like me and you are both considered cis because I'm a male that identifies as a male, right?
Oh, why are you calling me cis? That's a female term. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Moving on.
Welcome to Gender Talk.
Oh, God.
So thank you for not gendering neutraling your kid into they, them. I really appreciate it, Stephen.
I try.
So in Paris, I wonder if the Parisians are going to ask for my preferred pronouns when I get to the gates. Excuse me, monsieur, madame, what would you prefer your pronoun to be? Oui.
I don't know. I wonder
Jared.
if over there is the same as over here.
I'll ask DeMarcus when I get there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see DeMarcus. I'm looking forward to seeing some DeMarcus.
DeMarcus works for DxO, or used to, right?
No, he used to work for DxO. It's been like 4 years since he got fired.
Remember you used to have the DxO1, that little 1-inch sensor that would attach to your iPhone?
You mean the greatest wedding camera ever that I used at Dan's wedding when his photographer didn't show up?
I think, isn't that the only pictures he has is from the DxO1?
Well, no, because what happened after that, his friend who gave the worst groom's speech in the history of best man speech in the history of best man, like it was the worst in the history. It was the worst ever. Shot video with a 6D, Canon 6D.
Original.
So I didn't know how to use that. I wasn't shooting Canon yet. So I'm trying to take photos, didn't know how to change ISO, didn't know how to do anything, but I went and used it to take raw photos for Dan of his wedding outside after the photographer didn't show up. So I ended up using the 6D to do that, but it didn't really know how to use it, but just left it in like 1/60th of a second, and whatever it ended up being, it ended up working.
I can't believe their photographer never showed up, or their quote-unquote photographer, which was basically their neighbor.
Have you met Dan?
Hey, I'm having this wedding. Do you think you can shoot it? Like, it's not a big deal if you don't come, but if you can, that'd be great.
He doesn't listen. As we know, he doesn't listen. The only reason he hashtag Dan doesn't listen because Dan doesn't listen. We can say that officially because he didn't show up for lunch that one day that we offered to take him for lunch.
Yeah, or he didn't text you to get that $10,000 bonus that we said if you texted him saying you listened, then you would get that bonus. So it's too late.
It's too late now. It's too late to apologize.
It's too late.
So there's a lot of stuff to do in Paris. The Marcel Doucet, the Musée Doucet, I don't know what it's called. Really nice museum. We have a personal tour guide there. That's going to be great. I'm a big fan of hiring tour guides because I want to learn the most I can. I'm very upset when I go to like the Louvre the first time and just wander around aimlessly with no direction and no one giving you insight. I love knowledge and I love getting to hear what these tour people have to say. So that's why I'm hiring these people in different situations. We're doing a baking class. We're probably going to the catacombs. We're doing a mixed drink bar thing.
Oh, you're going to love that. You alcoholic.
It's costing me, it's either €65 or €85, and I'm going just because everybody else is
You're
going.
You're going to go and drink water.
I'm not going to drink the alcohol. So I'm just paying to join my friends there, and then they can have my drinks. But that's
they should have like a DD option or something for people that don't drink. Yeah.
But
it's not costing them anything for you to be there.
Well, I'm taking up a seat. They charge per seat, and it's not a big place. Gotcha. So that's understandable that's the thing. That's going to happen. There's a couple free days. I plan on doing like hyperlapse video by the walking up to the Eiffel Tower with this Insta 360 thing.
Cool.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Basically, it's nice when you get a sponsor when you go on a trip because it just means you can spend more money if you really want to. But yeah, I look forward to making that video while there.
And we'll be filming RAWtalk there, right? Remotely. You'll be doing RAWtalk from there with a new USB plus microphone from Rode. So that'll be cool. Hopefully you have internet.
USB plus. Oh, I better have fucking internet. Yeah. I mean, I will be upset if my...
I mean, we got away with you in Ohio with...
And that was bad internet.
Pretty much dial-up internet. I think we'll be able to do it in Paris as well.
So I hope that it's fine. So I'm taking the airport security for the bag that anybody is wondering. We're flying 787s out there. That's the biggest plane, one of the biggest planes, not the A7. What is the A3? A380 is probably the biggest plane right now, but this is the 787, and I should be able to take the airport security. And I packed 7 I Shoot Raw purple shirts. I packed as many
all the purple underwear you have too.
I packed all the purple underwear and
Purple
my
people
socks.
eater.
And I'm only going to wear one pair of jeans. I'm not taking an extra pair to rotate. Maybe I should. I may have room. If I have room, I will. But I did pack all my protein. So I packed 9 scoops of protein. I hope they don't think it's a kilo of Coke because it looks like a kilo of Coke in my bag.
What's the weather like there? They're a little colder now than us, right?
Very similar, except next week the weather here is going to be like 70s, but there it's going to be in the
50s, 60s?
High 50s, low 60s, and high 40s at night.
It's not bad.
So it's very similar. It may rain a little bit. I'm going to take my raincoat just in case and an umbrella, but
bring the new umbrella.
I'm not. Yeah.
Hello, for those that don't know, the new umbrella is this ridiculous contraption that basically still lets you take photos while you have this canopy
Hood
above
on.
your head.
Yeah. Clear canopy so you can see what's above you.
Yeah. Definitely Google it.
So that's that. So look, I'm looking forward to going. I'm a little calmer now that my brain got off the other shit. But as soon as I finish this podcast, I got to do lunch and I got to wrap up. I got to go pick up all the nuts I ordered from nuts.com at my other house. And,
priorities, man. Priorities.
Well, I bought individual 220 calorie mixed nut packs so that if I get hangry, I'll at least have a snack. Because I don't know about food while we're there.
Good to know.
Yeah, whatever, Steven. That's what I have to prepare. And then I got to fucking come back and write Photo News, finish writing fix and go record it and then get home because we're leaving at 4:30 to go to the airport.
Yeah.
This is a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the next topic.
I mean, you had all week to prep.
No, all that stuff's prepped. It's just a lot of shit has been thrown on in the last day.
It's more
I had to wait.
The fix throwing a monkey wrench, I feel like, in your plans. That's what's really...
Well, I had to wait to do the fix because we had to wait for stories.
Exactly, because this fix will be for next week. So we try to wait as long as possible to film it just so they're still somewhat topical.
Yeah, I mean, I should be fine. I just have to make some stops and get some stuff verified. I already put my passport in my bag now, and I took my Vax card. Not that anybody gives a shit about that anymore. And so that's in the bag as well. Anybody wondering, they always ask, and not everybody knows this, but I do not check camera gear underneath the airplane. I have a whole video about that. You do your best to get it on the airplane, and if anybody ever tells you need to check it, tell them no, and just take the stuff out of it, put it in another bag, and put it with you in your seat. Do not risk your livelihood and your gear underneath a plane, because something like America Airlines is only responsible for like $3,000 or $3,500 in damages or lost gear. Don't do it. So I make sure that I can take stuff on a plane, or I have another bag that I can put it in if they question me and give me enough shit. Most of the time, it's worth getting status on an airplane, like get their credit card that gives you early entry into the plane.
Yep.
And you may, if that just is getting their credit card and it costs you $95 a year to get the American Express,
that's what I use.
American Airline card just to get Zone 4 or better. Or,
Zone 4 versus Zone 9.
Yeah, where they say you can't put your stuff on the plane. So you just want to make sure you, and I think United offers an option where you can, they allow press on early because of this.
Huh, interesting.
And so always go up and ask. Even when I flew Southwest, I'm like, hey guys, I've got all this camera gear with me. I'm in B. I'm not in a bad zone, but I just want to make sure I'm able to get gear on early. Is it all right? Can you approve me to go
And
early?
they usually will work with you if you're polite.
Unless they're assholes.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you're an asshole.
Correct.
So try not to be too big of an asshole. The one thing we didn't talk about yet is the contest winner. We put out the contest winner video.
Go watch the video to see if you won.
Yeah, if you won, see if you're in the video. If you're in this video, then you won it.
You might be in there.
If you're not in the video, then you didn't win. And so unless your name is Devin, you didn't win. Oh, unless you're Devin, who flew in from Indianapolis, Indiana, you didn't win.
But you might still win, so check the video out.
But maybe you did. So I did something different. It took a little longer this year because I actually wanted to fly the person in. And so I reached out to Devin.
Super last minute.
I'm like, you won a day with me, a contest prize that wasn't listed on the website. Surprise. So you get to win a day with me in Philly. I'm like, can you come Tuesday? and I paid for it.
He clearly knew he was the winner the second you did that initial Zoom call. There was nothing on the contest rules that said you win a day with Jared.
You don't know that, Steven. I may have added it.
I do think you should add some of that stuff in the fine print, saying there's like secondary prizes or something.
Well, then
get
I
away
have,
with
then,
something
then
like
I
this
have to
next
uphold
time.
that. If it's in the if it's in there, I have to uphold it.
Or say possible, just something so we can trick them, I guess, getting them here and then revealing the grand prize.
I just thought it was going to be cooler to get someone to fly in this year and take them to the store.
I don't know if the video really showcased this well because I kind of edited around it, but essentially he got the money and then instantly knew exactly how much gear to get exactly $5,000 worth of gear at Alan's camera. He had it all in his head, planned out, ready to go. So he definitely knew beforehand, but
he sent me a message and it was like, man, those comments are brutal. People didn't think I was excited because he didn't really show that much excitement there.
That was my biggest thing to you after we filmed. I'm like, the only thing is he didn't seem like he was super excited because I think he knew.
But he said he was really excited when he got all the gear at home and on the table.
Grateful.
He was dancing around and super excited. So I get it. Not everybody is going to react the way that you expect them to react. He had an idea, I guess. I mean, why else would he be there? But
sure,
it was. I just thought it would be a cool thing to do this time around.
And, from a production standpoint, it's always a nightmare for me trying to, be a one-man band and film both of you guys, making it look like it's multicam and trying to record audio of both you guys. Because that's basically what I did is I took different sound clips and bites and threw them behind a bunch of different footage to make it look like you guys were saying certain things at certain times. But really, it was just scrambled footage mixed together, trying to make a story out of it. And it worked out in the end. It always does. But it takes a lot more editing to make it work and not be a very awkward video.
But I think the reception was I think it was received very well.
I love these kind of videos because it humanizes us. It really shows that we care about the audience.
Really an asshole.
But it's, they're always kind of tearjerkers too, especially when, like the last one we did, the guy from Polin, I forget his name.
I think it was Peter.
I thought it was Pascal or something.
I don't know. Maybe that doesn't sound very Polish to me.
But, he was genuinely very excited, and he clearly didn't realize what was going to happen because we tricked him at the time saying that we wanted to do a local piece about shopping in Alan's camera or something, shopping local. So we brought him there because he was from around the Philadelphia area, and it really worked out because he honestly thought he was there to talk about like shopping local and buying camera gear at Alan's camera.
That is correct.
So he was genuinely surprised. And we did a few Zoom calls over the years, and you can just see people like instantly tear up when they find out they're the winner. So it's really nice to be able to give back. You're giving back. You personally are giving back.
That's
not
my
me.
money.
You are. Yeah.
That's my money. That's not sponsored money. That's not Alan's camera donating money. That's not a camera company or Insta360.
It's all you.
It's money out of my pocket that I choose to do every year to do this contest. And yeah, of course, it benefits us to do a contest because we promote it as, if you own the presets, then you get entries and everything, and it's free to enter. So we'll be running that contest again. We don't have a link up, so don't go to any bit.ly link that you think it might be.
By the way,
especially
I went to one of them because I forgot what the link was, and I typed in the bad link, and
Which one?
sent me to
which video was it?
Gay porn.
Really?
Yeah, literally.
What link did you go to? I need to see this.
bit.ly / should I say it?
Yeah, say it.
bit.ly / megafro22 and megafro23. I believe those two links I typed in, and I'm like, that's not the right link.
No, it was bit.ly / megafro 2022. Yeah.
For those that don't know, Jared basically did the same link for like 2 or 3 years in a row. So it's a given that 2022 and 23 were going to be the next contest links. And somebody went in there and sabotaged the links and sent them to porn websites,
YouPorn,
basically.
Yeah, right to porn.
And hey, kudos to them. That's pretty funny.
It was funny. just don't go to those links at work. I mean, unless your work is okay with it.
But back to the contest winner, what I'd like that we do too is we try to dedicate like a video showcasing the winner and who they are, and there is an actual winner. I think there's so many contests that people enter and they never know who won or whatever happened. So I think it's also nice that we can showcase that and say, hey, there is a real winner. We are doing a real contest. We're not scamming people.
Well, people always think you are scamming. They're like, it's a scam.
It's because they didn't win. Yeah.
I entered all the time.
I entered daily. Well, meanwhile, I didn't realize there was millions of people entering.
There's like I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of total entries
Had to be a ton.
are there.
Yeah.
There were a ton, right? So there's quite a lot. Anything else you want to talk about? I should probably get this wrapped up so I can start getting less anxious because I got to get this shit done.
We got to get you out of here. The nice thing is, you can take that week in Paris, and me and Dan are still going to keep the ship going. So
we still have videos to come out.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, we can still keep everything going here while you're gone for a week. So.
Yep. Oh wow. All right, guys. You want to send us some texts again? Give you the number one more time, 313-710-9729. You want to drop us a line, let us know what you think. If you're in Paris listening to this, I might put out a meetup at some point. If I have a free couple hours, I might put on Instagram, Insta stories. Hey guys, I'm going to sit here in Paris for a while. If you want to come out, we may do that.
And if you guys haven't rated us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please try and write a written review. Give us 5 stars if you really dig the show. I'm sure there's a lot of you that haven't. I know there's a lot of you that haven't actually rated the show yet. So it really does help. And I always do like and appreciate reading those reviews.
Yep, and listen to all the episodes if you haven't, and they come out every Friday for those who are new here. Friday, the little secret is usually at 11:30 on Thursday night.
It's like 11:45, 11:50.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Steven does all that. So that's it, guys. I got to get ready to get out of here, and oh no, I can't get out of here. I got work to do. Now I just got anxious again. Fuck you, Steven.
It's Jared's answer to every time he gets anxious. Fuck you.
Yeah, leave me alone.
No, I don't get out of here then. Stop talking.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Jared, PolinFronosphoto.com. See ya.
Peace.
Au revoir. Au revoir. See you from Paris.
I'm probably gonna leave real soon. Just wanted to let you know before I say au revoir. Au revoir. You probably don't even know what that means. Au revoir. Au revoir. You probably don't even know what that means. She says that it's French.